Hi, my name is Tatiana Zaytseva. Today is Wednesday, August 18th, 2021, and today we will talk about Red Earth colors, and I am assisted by George O'Hanlon, like always. He's behind the camera and he will help me during our video. Before I will start talk about serious things, I want to thank all of you who call us daily and ask how we're doing, because we do have fire season, and funny enough, we always answer we are good. So today, 2 o'clock morning at morning, yes. So we got evacuation notice, and I started pack all our belongings, and so by the 4 o'clock I was ready to leave the house, but we got the message then the fire, here's local fire, was down. So which is happy, we are so happy here today to be with you and have this session. Next week, I just want to remind you, next week on August 25th, George will talk about origin of color, and that would be that was first lecture from what actually whole painting best practices started later. So that lecture was ordered by National Gallery, and so in 2006, first time George gave that lecture. These days he remodeled that lecture, so specifically for you to view on computer. It will be great one, don't miss it. And so again, it will be on Painting Best Practices website, so please remember that. It's August 25th, 10 o'clock Pacific time next week. So let's start talk about our red colors, red earth colors. Today we will talk about only five colors, red earth, and that probably were just regional colors what we started 16 years ago. These days we have many more, which we will talk about other ones later on in other sessions, but we thought we will cover today most unusual in between these five colors, most unusual behavior. So first one is Sartorius Red, or Red Sartorius Earth, and it's, you will see that, and we're specifically showing the behavior because this one actually almost behave like burnt sienna, and as transparent as burnt sienna, although you notice then it was PR1 of 102, which is red iron oxide. That is what we are showing now. It's Venetian Red, and you see a little bit of separation. And those of you who were on our or shows or our classes, I always talk about our nutty red earth colors, and specifically Ercolano and Venetian. It's two the most nutty colors. So they again we need to mention then we don't put any additives to any of our colors except one, and So therefore, you definitely will see the separation on some of them, and the most likely it would be on red earth colors. So Venetian Red, as a mass tone, you will notice then three colors. It's Venetian Red, Pozzuoli Red, and Ercolano Red. They almost look identical as a mass tone. Once you mix them with whites, you will see the difference, and today it will be very apparent, and especially you will see how it's look different when you mix with titanium white, because lead white, of course, very soft white, so then even though you will see, but not as much as with titanium. So you notice all of our colors, at least first three. It's PR 102, which is red iron oxides. The difference is just it's different places where we dig these colors.
Such as this area in Verona. In fact, most of the red earths that we're going to show come from northern Italy. And we put the Munsell numbers notation there too for those interested in that.
That is new for us, so we never did this, but we found that interesting. You notice this, how Ercolano is very long color. So I know some artists asking us, what do we mean long and short colors? So short, it's when you just tap the color with the knife, and so it's breaking immediately. That was Sartorius Earth. It's very short, buttery paint, whereas the Ercolano is the longest one and probably the nuttiest one, and one of our absolute bestsellers, because of the you will see how salmony orange color that is. So here we have red earth from France, Le Biron Valley, and you will see how long that one. Yes.
It's a nice tail zip for us.
Yes.
You also see some of the texture of these. Some of these pigments have fairly good sized particles.
French is one of them, and of course, for those of you who are familiar with our colors, you know then all our French colors, French amber, French siennas, have quite big particles, and so they do behave very different from all other colors. So if you want to pay attention to the behavior of the colors, so that would be, cool to check that all our French colors. Indian Red. That is one of my becoming my favorites, and so for some reason artists don't pay attention much. They probably know, maybe, I don't know, but color Indian Red from other companies, and that's on our palette you will see, and specifically I will show right after when we finish video, I will show you swatches. This color is very interesting. It does have two different particle size, and in oil colors it's quite visible. In watercolors it's absolutely apparent. So we do have, I do believe, George will correct me if I'm wrong, so I do believe the part of that pigment is magnetite, and magnetite is black iron oxide, and that's what gives that appearance of very unusual. So then when you paint with Indian Red, black particles are staying separate from red particles, and specifically when we grind that color on our mill, you will see then first small particles are going first, and you will see the black band, and then suddenly red particles going separate. So this is hematite. Again, very heavy. To this hematite and Indian Red, very heavy colors. So therefore they will be very very long. and very powerful.
Also very fine particle size
Yes.
too. And this one's the from the U.S.
Blue Ridge Mountains. So that was with lead white. So now we will start mixing with titanium white, and you will see the difference. So I'm trying to mix equal amount of white and red, and look how titanium overpowering immediately. And so that will give you idea how red Sartorius is quite transparent color.
All of them make good flesh tones though.
Absolutely.
You can see the pink stand out in the Venetian, especially with titanium, but it is pink even with lead.
That is why for people who could not afford vermilion or just nowadays none of us can have that color. So vermilion would be very inexpensive, far away, but still substitute for pink red. You see the difference now. That's absolutely apparent. So how the Venetian is much cooler and pinkish.
Than
Yes.
Ercolano.
And
Ercolano
Ercolano
has
is
that nice salmon
yes.
color.
And Pozzuoli is standing right in between two of them somewhere. Like I said about French Red Ocher, it's very interesting color due to the behavior of that color. Look now, so I'm mixing Indian red together so with titanium, and equal amount doesn't give much tinting either. So that's how powerful these two colors, and same as hematite, would be. If you have questions, so then you can ask us immediately, so then we can answer during the session, or we just continue. That's how I wanted to see the pink on that on two of these colors, and you can see that it took some amount of titanium to make it visible. So here I wanted Josh, you can help me with this. So kind of like neutralize, is that correct to say?
So we're adding, of course, a complementary
Yeah,
green, in this case the Nicosia green earth.
So we choose two greens. It will be first row, it will be Nicosia green, and it's very transparent green. We have three, actually no, I'm taking back again, so I keep forgetting now about our Armenian beautiful colors. So we have three earth colors, which is Verona, Nicosia, and Antica green. So they are quite transparent, and two greens from Tavush area of the Armenia, which is even more transparent than the first three. So in this case, I choose cooler Nicosia, and you can see how transparent that color is. It didn't make much dents on that red colors.
Nancy's asking, Indian red and hematite seem quite similar. Besides particle, what's the difference?
I will show you right after video. I will show you swatches where you will see definite differences. So hematite has smaller particles, and so it does have gloss when on the end. So it's very easy to paint. The brush sliding, very nice texture on hematite. Like I mentioned, it's two different particle size, so that it's not as glossy as hematite, and you definitely will see that it's unusual. It's like one side is black and another is red, so it will be here on camera it's not as visible. But I thank you for that, because that was discovery for me. I mean, we do like Indian red on our meal, but when I put them together, so it's just beautiful here.
So with this chromium oxide green, which is far more opaque than the green earth, you can see a huge difference immediately. You didn't see much of a difference.
It didn't dent at all on the Sartorius. You can see then it's absolutely the gobble that red.
Elise asks, so Venetian red might be a good substitute for vermilion?
Yes, that's great. So it's very inexpensive, very easy to work because it's not as powerful. So yes,
it's a good substitute, but it won't get you the bright red that vermilion does. But in the tints, it has some similarities, so it might make a good substitute there.
Yeah.
Susie asks, I know we're talking about oil paints, but do the same mixing characteristics apply when mixing the pigments in egg tempera? To some degree,
yes. So yes, and
but
again,
not quite as saturated.
Yes.
Or as dark. You're going to see a much lighter color.
Yes, that's true. And as tempera is anyway, but you probably will not see much difference. And I must be honest about like Pozzuoli and Ercolano. If you will do this in watercolors or on tempera, probably will not be much difference at all. Venetian will be obviously visible, then it's quite cooler, and of course with I encourage you to try Indian red. That is one unusual color. Very powerful again. If it will not be good for maybe for glazes, because again it will be probably unpredictable, because if you would want to any warms from that, you will not achieve that, because it's once you dilute in it, it will be quite cool. So I tried to do a little bit more red on that, so to see how to make that neutral. And so you see then again it took a lot of red to mix with chromium green oxide.
Again, you can see the first color, the Sartorius, not a strong tinting, but it's really good for those color modulations that are very
longest
subtle.
time Sartorius we were selling as a flush tone color, because especially with Antica, Sartorius and Antica, so two of them you can have, and you can basically mix any flush tone. So here, of course, instead of red I should bring a little bit more green, but I did that. I got excited, I guess, too much. So we are back now to camera, and
there's a question from Robert. It says, are there any issues with mixing earth colors with cadmiums? He says he seems to remember one of the painting materials book mentioning earth colors would eat, perhaps not the correct term, the cadmiums. And
if anything, then I would think probably opposite, because all earth colors are so weak tinting, so then cadmiums will definitely overpower. So same like what you saw with cadmium, I mean with chrome oxide green. So that,
I think he was also referring to any degradation of cadmiums, and you have to keep in mind that what they're really talking about are sulfide colors, and particularly colors that have free sulfur or free sulfur compounds in it. And but that's not the case with earth colors and with cadmiums. Cadmiums are rather pure these days, so they don't interact with most other pigments to date that we know. And I don't think they ever did with any of the iron oxide or earth colors. There's another question. This person, in fact, 19. They purchased. This person purchased Pozzuoli Red Ochre.
Yes.
And seemed to have some separation. Should he add bodied oil or wax?
Ooh.
Are you talking about the pigment?
So
the graininess, he's asking, he says that the biggest issue is the graininess. The graininess is actually the particle size. So there is some separation, and Tanya, you can speak to that too.
Yes. You know, you probably noticed that new photographs on our website, and so Leslie now last couple months she was working on all our photographs, and so we hope to change everything on our website. And so then you notice the videos, we will have videos there too, and so we don't shy to show you, because some of that colors, even like on today on video, you saw they have separation. And if you keep like tubes are upside down, so then oil will go up, and it's just simple physics. So in our case, we always say then less you mix with colors, like any additives, meaning like wax, so better you on the future. So if Pozzuoli, like I said, we have this Pozzuoli and Ercolano, two natty colors. What separates sometimes very good, sometimes they could separate, and it's depend, I guess, on. I don't think it's even in batch. It's just how we tube it, and so it's everything done by hand. So if that oil you didn't need, if you think then consistency of the color is enough, good enough for you, so then just leave that oil alone. So whatever separates, just you know, throw away. If you think then it's the pigment started to be too thick for you, so add any linseed oil what you have in your studio. So I would stay away from bodied oil unless you will paint immediately. If you do want to completely retube, so take out, again, we teach you in the class, so if you take the back of the tube, so like you cut back of the tube, take out everything from the tube and mix with whatever oil you need, and put back in new tube. So I would suggest do not mix with bodied oil, because it will be more difficult to paint on the future.
So in fact, was talking about making their own.
Okay.
Yeah, for the pigment, and yes, you can add wax to it, but you know, separation is not a big. It's an inconvenience, but it's not a big problem, and it certainly isn't a defect in the paint or in the paint you make. So
and remember, we always love here in at class. So we love you to make your own colors. Absolutely. Don't be surprised then a couple months later in your tube separation will occur, because we don't have, I mean, as a human, we don't have enough power to make paint Josh, what the word I'm looking, so the mix enough.
So you're talking about dispersing.
Thank you.
So obviously, the paint we make is better dispersed. But if you make your own paint, you won't be able to disperse it quite as well. But again, that's not a big deal. You're going to have more aggregates. That will cause a little bit more separation, and larger particles tend to separate more than very fine particles.
They are fun to paint. But that's for sure. It will be much more fun to paint with bigger particles, because the behavior of the paint will be dictated by the particles.
In fact, that's what I'm going to be talking about next week in Origins of Colors.
Yes.
And we'll be talking about how the old masters used mineral pigments, and a lot of them had very large particles in them.
So George, can we switch camera for a second? I dime to show that the Indian red, and I will try to. You see that band right here? That's what I was talking about, the magnetite. So, or smaller particles, which are they quite dark and darker. So when you paint, you don't see that. So I hope it's visible. Yes. So
yeah,
dark
it looks like a kind of a grayish area.
Yes.
Yeah.
And actually, on right here, it's much more violet. That's what the color here. So on camera, probably you see as a gray. So, and you can see how it's tinting to the very pink one. Beautiful, beautiful pink one. So, and here, since we are talking about difference in Indian and hematite, so if I will show, you see how glossy that is? That is due to the small particles. And so therefore it's look a little bit different, and but again makes a very pink color tint. So, and you can see the Indian red is not glossy at all. So this
it tends to dry matte.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
so
other colors, and that's typical, by the way, of colors that have very big particle size. They tend to dry matte.
Yes.
And colors that have very small particle size tend to dry a little bit more glossy.
And here we see that is the Venetian red. Here's Pozzuoli, and you see how salmony Ercolano is. It's like I always say, then it is one of the best. And look how different looks Sartorius Red. So very brown color, although again it's among our red earth colors. So
there's Naomi had a question.
Yes.
My lead white has stiffened in the tube. Can I mix it with more walnut oil and retube it?
Absolutely. So you can change switch again, unless it will be more questions about the swatches. Absolutely, Naomi. And mixing with walnut oil is good. Remember, if you mix with walnut oil, you will prolong the time of the drying. So if you don't want to have longer time, so because for example, our lead white #1 dries much faster than #2 because due to the different oils. So then yes, absolutely.
And Marie asks, I know artists wonder about the different colors having the same color index number.
Yes.
So
remember,
she's asking for a short explanation.
Okay. So remember, we are not talking about Mansell or about Pantone system. We are talking about color index. So, and that is due to the mineral. And so since it's same mineral shared by all our red colors, which we are digging, and the mineral is hematite. So, but in let's say in French red ochre, we have more silica, so it's behave different. So like for example, in Pozzuoli and Ercolano, we have more clay. Like in Sartorius, we have even more clay and chalk and all other minerals, but the main mineral is hematite, which is red iron oxide, and that's why all of them have the same index, PR 102. Same including, like, even if I said then red Sartorius does look like French sienna, burnt sienna. So, but burnt sienna, it's PBR 7.
It's actually PR 102 now. So they've standardized on that.
That was long time, so going back and forth, we still have in the website. So then you can question that.
There's an article on the website where we clarify that, because it did have a different number, but now it's been classified as a PR 102. And so basically the color index is a chemical designation. So, and chemicals can have a variety of colors. So that's why you have the PR102. And by the way, synthetic red iron oxides are
PR103.
101.
101, I'm sorry, 101. So first time ever you get me. We always laugh, George, every time switching, and I'm correcting him. Today he corrected me. Great. So 101, yes.
And Emily asks, where can you order in the USA these colors?
In our website. And by the way, thank you for reminding me. So we just created yesterday a special page just for this 7 colors. What we have 7, I think, yes, 7 colors we had. And so if you will buy any of these colors to the month of the August, you will automatically have a percentage off, but that must be specifically from that page, and it will be Red Earth Colors as a product, and so then you can choose any of you want. So
they can either search for Red Earth Colors, or I will post the link
today
on the page.
Yes.
So you can access it from there.
So just because we had such a big response from you guys about our white colors, and so white colors were done last year, and for my embarrassment, that was the first program we made, and now year later we understand how we want that programs look like, the format, how we want to explain to you every color. So we will reshoot our white colors for September. So that would be our AMA for September. We will concentrate on not on all what we did on our first program, but on major white colors, and we will show you mixes with different colors. And so I do want you to write to us what specifically you wanted, because I know that we collected a lot of questions, but since you now know what that program would be, just write to us, say what exactly you want to see. And because we are filming, we will start film this weekend to the September. So nowadays, with all our fires, we never know how long we will be here in studio. So we are starting immediately. So yeah,
there's
naturalpigments.com. So that's where you go in and you buy all our colors.
In fact, it has another question.
Yes.
So PR102, natural hematite-based pigment from various sources at various levels of purity, correct?
Yes.
Yes, basically PR102 designates a natural iron oxide, which may or may not be hematite mineral. Usually it is, but it could be another type of iron oxide in a mineral form. And yes, the different colors are a result of purity. It's not an alteration, but it's how it comes out of the earth. And Jose asks, is there a particular reason some colors are designated as ochres? And
I think it's
the basic, if
yes,
you don't mind me answering
absolutely,
that one.
yes.
The basic reason is that ochres usually have a lower iron oxide content than, let's say, some natural like Indian red, which has an iron oxide content that's quite high. Usually ochres are down in the 20 to 40% range. That's how much iron oxide they have.
And everything else is all other minerals, like I said. So again, all that information on our website, you absolutely, if you are that interested, so you can read that there. So that's why Red Sartorius is, again, it's counted as the ochre, because it does have all other minerals together. And so more than even like, let's say, Venetian. And of course, in Indian red, it's almost not exist.
So just about all the colors we showed you, except for the Indian red and the hematite, would be considered ochres.
Yeah.
Ochres.
And that's why you, again, whoever, if you are interested. So it's why we don't give fancy schmancy names. We are giving names from the regions where we dig in. And so that's why it's Ercolano, although we pronounce Ercolano, it's from actually Hercule, how you, so like, because I'm mixing now Russian and English, and it's supposed to pronounce actually Hercules, and so, but we gave Ercolano. So Pozzuoli, of course, from Pozzuoli, and therefore, so.
Okay, and let me see here. We have another question. Of course, there's questions about the lead white availability of larger tubes.
We do know. So yes, I know it was a scary moment, and I know every time we tell you, when you call us, we tell you, please don't buy in advance, because we will have that that pigment or whatever the product.
You're talking about the normal large tubes.
I know.
Of, yeah.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we got scared for a moment. Then we could not find the lead what we wanted, and then George always checking specific particles, particle size and behavior of the color. So we finally found. It was shortage this year only because of the corona, nothing else. It was nothing like suddenly companies stopped doing, although probably eventually will. So, but so we will have lead pigment back in in our facility end of the month. So it will take probably 2 to 3 weeks to make it. So then we definitely will have tubes of big tubes of lead white on website by the time what we will have next AMA for the for the whites. So it's there. It's coming already. We know it's the pigment on the way. Yes.
Susan asks, will the swatches be available on your website?
They are. They're there. And actually, this is my swatches, what I was doing, because I'm stingy. I'm just like, I don't want to throw away anything, because I was working on these colors, and I wanted to, because we check in afterwards every color we put on sun, we see how it's behave, and so then light fastness, and so that's why I'm doing my swatches. But on website we have professional ones, and so then yes, you definitely will see there.
Dean asks, will this be available on the Canadian website?
Oh, you mean discount?
Yes, we'll do that.
Okay, Dina. So you see
Dean,
how it
Dean.
was. Dean, okay.
Dean, yeah.
So then how easy was to convince George. So we didn't think yesterday about this, but so I guess he's doing that.
Yeah, give us just a little, this afternoon, you'll see it available on that website too. He's also asking about the varnishes.
Not varnishes,
varnishes,
not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. We are working hard, and so we thought we almost, although the next
it
next,
probably will be with the next shipment.
Because look like we are sending not by air but by land, and so ground. So then I think it is not in Europe. We are sending today a new palette to Europe without varnishes, and we were really hoping that it will be, but no.
Linda
not
asks,
yet.
do you have stacked lead white?
We do. It's it's on the yes, and the announcement will be sent first to our cohorts first, and to people who was waiting on our waiting list for almost a year. It's on production, that's for sure. It's not like before we were talking about it was we could not work on pigment, even we were short on labor because of the COVID, and we could not put any of our employees to that task. Now it's done, and I think it will be approximately again to the time or when it will be next AMA. I don't think we will announce to the whole world until we announce to people who waited for that. So if you are not on the list, sneakily call to Kira in the office, and so she will put you in the list, and so you will know first.
Okay, we have some suggestions for our a paler shade of white. That's so.
Okay.
So that we'll take those into consideration there.
Okay.
And want to thank everybody for supporting us by buying our products.
Thank you.
Thank you for like that.
Thank you.
One more question here from Jose. Which will be the closest natural alternative to transparent red iron oxide?
That would be Indian red.
That's except it's not as transparent. That's the
Mars.
the point.
Mars is not transparent. Mars is quite powerful. Did I misunderstand?
The transparent red iron oxide.
Oh, transparent red iron oxide. Ooh. They're not. No.
Yeah, Jose.
No.
The problem is that the reason why the red iron oxides are those red iron oxides or iron oxides are transparent is because they have very, very fine particles, and as the particles get very small, it does have a lot of transparency. There isn't. Some of the ochres can mimic some of that, but not quite the same.
See, when you paint with transparent red or yellow iron oxides, when you paint very thinly, and you can see the passage is very thin. With any of our red colors, red earths, you will see the particles. So that's the difference. And so you can easily achieve the transparency, but it will be different look. So it's that's why we have red iron oxides.
Yeah, it's a unique pigment.
It is.
And without the additive, it's pretty interesting. We've seen some differences comparing it to other brands with additives in them.
Yes, and so I thank you for all your support. Like what George said, buying our products. I thank you really personal. So because you guys call us and constantly ask us about the fires, and we are just stepping. Although our fire season started this year in May, which was unusual. Last year we were complaining about June. So but in reality it's so August, September, and October. So we'll cross our fingers, and we definitely will keep you updated. George is very good about this. Last year he posted everything on Facebook. We had whole week of out of work because we didn't have any electricity, and so we're scared.
It's what we get for living in Northern California.
Yeah, we live in heaven, except for 3 months.
When Linda had a question about
Yes.
transparent brown iron oxides.
Yes.
And we don't make one, but some companies call their red iron oxide a brown iron oxide. So
because it doesn't look like red exactly, same like yellow. So when I remember first we started make it, and it was like, Jesus, they all brown. They don't even look like red or yellow. But when in industry they
transparent, they look very reddish or very yellow.
Yeah. We do have Mars brown. Very unusual one, and beautiful color, not transparent at all. You can make it transparent, but again, remember, we don't suggest a lot of oil. So, and these colors do take a lot of oil due to the particle size.
And just as a reminder, because we're getting several questions about the discount.
Yes.
So just search for Red Earth Colors.
That would be page on website.
It'll be a page
where you will have exactly this, 7 colors, and you can choose 3 of them. at least, so then you will have a discount. And so yes, and
I will also post the link in the comments after the broadcast.
yes.
And one question from Ivy: can I make any of your products into acrylic paints?
Yes, absolutely. You can do
the
pigments.
Yeah.
Pigments. So we have, that's why, see on our website, we have separation groups. So like pigments, although it's, you know, like oils, when you choose the medium, we don't make obviously acrylics, so that's why we didn't even put as a medium. But you can take any pigments from tempera section, and just go to tempera, choose the pigments, and any pigments what you are interested would work with acrylics. You can make your own colors, beautiful ones too. So we did this especially on a couple of the shows. So yes, you can mix with any medium. You probably take like gel medium, would be easier to mix it.
Jose asks, we didn't talk about our transparent mummy.
That's why that would be special program where we will talk about only about our Armenian colors. We do want to have this special program because this is beautiful. We do have 10 beautiful Armenian colors, and just by secret I will tell you. So we found another 3 unbelievable colors. So one would be green umber, absolutely green. That it's actually 4 will be. One will be violet gray, and 2 pink colors. They actually as the pigment they look orangey, but once you make them in oil, they're quite pink. So that would be I think that project will be done to the end of the year, but we definitely will cover our mummies, because we do have transparent mummy and we have brown mummy, which is, they are on completely different spectrum. Same like what if transparent mummy, it's if I will take like Venetian red, how transparent it is, and brown mummy, as powerful as the Indian red. That's how the range of these colors. Yes, we will talk about that next
And by
time.
the way, if you see that the Red Earth colors are out of stock on that page, don't worry, we are changing that. I'm going to try to change that as we speak.
I guess we missed something.
No, it flipped over last night.
Okay.
So
Okay.
so we just had to update it again this morning.
Okay.
But which I will do as we speak here.
You're fast, guys. That's good. That's good. Take opportunity. So then we don't have discounts usually. So it's the only way for us to kind of like to promote and show you our colors. That's when we have this AMA, and not always, but we are giving you discounts. So that would be a great opportunity to try. Are we done for today?
Yes.
Okay.
I think. One last question from
Okay.
Ivy. What's a mummy?
Mummy, it's not how people want to think, although it was on 19th century, it was the color where mummies were discovered, and so then it's literally was brown color, where we took our name because it's from Russian, because and again it's called mumia, and mumia that is the mineral, and that's why we choose that name, because again, if you know a little bit of the story of our company, that's why we started called Natural Pigments. 17 years ago we brought 13 pigments from Russia, and so obviously, and so then I still pronounce many of the minerals as I was pronouncing in Russian, and that's why we left mumia as a mummy. We translated in English, and so this is the mineral, And it's again for now, since we are not covering today, you can just look on our website, and it's on. You can just search mommy, and it will pop up for you pigments and the oil colors.
Okay,
That's about it. Thank you very much.
Oh, one last.
Okay, that's good. We're here. Let's do it.
Since this is an important topic,
yes.
When will vermilion be available? And unfortunately, we don't have a date at this point in time, because the only source of vermilion pigment at this point is it was from China. They've stopped producing. We're investigating whether we can do it. I mean, we've done it in small batches, but we're going to try to do this with our own process. It may take some time, though.
It's so interesting. I remember time. I mean, this was the most expensive color on our palette. That was $129 a tube. And every time, I remember when it was $99, and I, in our classes, I will say, then this is most expensive. Don't buy if you don't think then you will use it. And people were like, oh. So, and now it's and I every time saying it was our bestseller, and people could not believe until they try. Now we don't have it, and I know some of you call and say, like, we will pay any money, just give us this color. And
however, we do have a good substitute, and we will have a good substitute soon.
Don't say anything now. It will be big
we'll
announcement.
Make an announcement.
So we do have substitute for vermilion.
It's actually the natural counterpart.
My husband can't keep secrets, he can't. So he's just so excited. We are talking about year again, about this color, but again, it's already on production, so it will be ready at some time.
And one last question about lapis.
That would be available next week. Yep. I do believe it's ready to last grind. So we will grind, if not this week, maybe early next week, and be tubing immediately. And as soon as it will be ready, we definitely will have a big announcement on website. So keep that in mind. So, but by the end of the August, that definitely lazurite will be back in stock. Yes.
All right.
Okay. Now for sure, bye. And don't forget, next week, George's Origin of Colors will be here. And remember, then you can see online free the first day, and then it will be paid course in Painting Best Practices website. Please go ahead, register with us on Painting Best Practices website. See what we have there. We're already developing community there. It's more than 2,000 people already there. And so slowly we will switch from Facebook group to the group on Painting Best Practices, where serious people will have serious answers on their questions, because Facebook becoming tiring. But we're still doing that, and so please register there on Painting Best Practices. We will love to see you there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
See you next time.
Bye now.
Bye.